Right. So we discuss about how the internet works, and I told you why there is something called DNS server and what do you mean by an IP address. We talk about what kind of a thing is an URL, right? And when we need to connect from one place to another, we are going to use URLs, as well as our computer will use DNS to convert the IP address, to convert the domain name into the IP address, right? Then they will find the particular web server. Then it will bring up the particular web resource, or like the internet resource that we want, right? So that is what we have illustrated through this diagram, right? So once the user enters the URL, it will be sent to the DNS server with the help of the OS, and then the DNS server will send the IP address to the operating system, and then it will give that directly to the browser. So when the browser receives the IP address, then the browser get to know with which kind of a website that they have to be connected with. Therefore, the browser will send a request to that particular web server, requesting that their resources on this browser, right? That means that on our browser, on the user's browser, then those things will be transferred to the user's browser, so the user can get to see what that website holds, right? So that is what has happened with the help of the DNS server as well as the web server. So when they are doing this communication, they go through certain protocols. Protocol means some rules and regulations which you can use when you are using the internet, right? And basically the protocols are there to maintain or to manage the data transmission from one point to another. That means from sender to a receiver during the data communication, right? So these are some protocols that they are using. And HTTP, as I told you, it's the hypertext transfer protocol. TCP IP, so TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol. IP stands for Internet Protocol. FTP, File Transfer Protocol. And SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. And this particular table shows you what are the usage of those. We use HTTP to exchange the HTML document. There is a particular website which contains the HTML pages that will be in somewhere in the world, inside a particular machine. So from that machine, those HTML pages must be directed or must be spread to any person who is requesting that, right? So that means the HTML documents will be transmitted or will be communicated from one place to another, right? So it's kind of an exchange, right? So for that, they will use HTTP. TCP IP, controlling the exchange of IP addresses, right? So like it is talking about it is taking care of how the machine will be recognized. So from which machine to which another machine that the communication is happening. So machines will be get to know, like machine will recognize each other with the help of the TCP IP. And file transfer protocol, it's purely about file exchange. Like that we are like uploading a particular file into the Google Drive. FTP involves, right? You share in a particular file inside the Google Drive with many other users. FTP involves, right? Likewise. SMTP is, as its name describes, it's simple mail transfer protocol, right? So it is about the electronic message exchange or the electronic message or email communication. ICMP, it is kind of a information and controlling messages when there are errors. So it's kind of error reporting protocol, right? So this will recognize, or this will monitor whether there are any errors in between this communication. Okay, so yeah, now yes, let me explain about this thing as well. The client server architecture, as well as some internet servers that we are involved in with. Right. So in a particular there are different models to represent how the data communication has happened. Right. So especially when it comes to a wide area network like internet, it is purely based on the architecture called client and server architecture, right? Client means the one who is receiving the service. In most of the cases, we are a client. We are just asking a particular service from a server, right? So this is what you call a server, right? So when the client is requesting a service, server is always there to provide a service to them. So the one who is providing the service in the internet are called servers. One who is receiving the service in the internet are called clients. Right, so that is what you need to know about the client server architecture. There are many other architectures, but client server is one of the models that we are talking about. And at the same time, like I think you know about these terminologies like uploading and downloading, right? So downloading means you are getting something from the server computer to your computer, and when you open the browser, and if you just type a particular URL, let's say this is Wikipedia. Wikipedia.com. So here I'm getting the first page of the Wikipedia.com. Loading the page over here is also a downloading of data, right? It is not the things that only downloads into your computer. That is also that is also named as downloading, but site එකෙන් download කරනවා කියන එකම නෙවෙයි download කියන එක downloading වල එක කැලකට එක වර්ගයක්, right? So when all these files, when all these images and all these are being loaded into the paper, that is also a downloading part, right? So you can do the downloading, okay, you can refer the downloading in that aspect. Uploading means you are uploading something to the internet. So it can be a particular server or a system, or maybe a particular personal computer, right? So somehow, if you are spending, or like if you are taking all the data and sending it to somewhere else, that is what we call uploading, right? So through the internet connection, these things will be uploaded to the server computers. So things in your computer will be uploaded to the server computer. That is what has happening when you upload something to the YouTube, right? So your upload facility is given to you, right? If you visit to the youtube.com, you are given the ability of uploading a data, right? So as well as in many other cases, people will find how to download this thing as well. Right. So yeah. So these are the terminologies that we are talking about when we are talking the networks and the internet. Right. So the one is the web server. We know that it is stored in it has a particular website in it. It stores a website. Mail server, it's storing emails of everyone, right? So but when it comes to the logging into these systems, or like no, Matula, not yet. If you are logging into some email server, you will be given a particular username and a password, and that username and password will be limited, or will be can be used just to store the mail, right? And login and the username and the password will open the portion of yours, only the portion of yours of that particular one, or the particular server. So it doesn't matter that we got everything in a one particular place. It will save the space, but when you give the username and the password, it's only your content that you can see, not the others. DNS server, we know it is translating URL into a IP address. Simple as that. Okay, so let's write this down. I think you are done with your diagram. And under that diagram, let's write this in point form. Yes, you can copy this, and then you can put examples and write these 5. Let me know when you're done, people. Let me know when you're done, people. Okay, so moving forward, some people are still gathering. We'll ask them to refer the recording, right? So moving forward, you need to complete this table as well. Yeah, let's complete that, and then we'll move to the other part, the explanation of the protocols.
Yes.
Okay, are we done, people? Anyone who is still writing? Okay, one is still writing, so quickly finish it up. Okay, are we done? Can we move forward? Okay, so moving forward. Yeah, so you have to write about this and draw the picture, people. Draw this picture. As well as you have to write this particular one. So write the highlighted part, draw the diagram. Right, and write this part as well. Okay, are we done? Can we move forward? Anyone who is still writing? All right, it seems we can move forward. I'm slowly moving forward. So write these two as well regarding uploading and downloading. Manisha or Manisha, I will show you how to refer the recordings, right? Okay, are we done? Can we move forward? Okay, I'm moving a little bit forward to right over here. Have the subheading like this, some internet server computers, and then write about these servers. Right. Are we done, everyone? Anyone who is still writing? All right. So moving forward. So now we are coming to the point of discussing the services of the internet. Now, that is something you should understand, like internet is not just one particular service, right? There are many particular services inside the internet. So as it listed, the World Wide Web is the famous service that you can refer through the internet. So World Wide Web is made out of all the websites that is being hosted around the world. So the Sir Tim Berners-Lee was the one who is like as the founder of the World Wide Web, right? So to access the World Wide Web, like you need a browser, that is the application software that you can use, and with a proper URL and with a proper internet connection, you can access the World Wide Web through a web browser like Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, Safari. There are many kind of things, right? So when it comes to the World Wide Web, it is always a website that we are talking about, right? So when you enter the URL, it will take you to the particular resource of a website. If you use the domain name, like what is the difference between the domain name and the URL? Domain name is also itself a URL, but URL can specify a specific location of a website, right? So if I give you an example, if you visit to my website, now this is the URL that you can see to visit my home page, right? But if I go to the Ssl Labs lesson recording, look at what happens to my URL. It gets differs. And if you visit to any particular place, it's going to change the URL that you are having, right? Like this. Now it is a different one. Right, so if you visit a different place, then it's over here, right? So any particular URL will take you to a one specific place inside a website. But when it comes to the home page one, it specifies the URL which can visit to your home page. In my case, it's www.starlabs.lk. Right, same can go with the internet when it comes to your case. Right, so when we open a particular browser and we can type the URL that we want, so it will take us to the specific place that we are intended to go. If you really don't know about the place that you are going to go, then you can use a search engine, which is another facility of the internet, and can be visited to the specific URL that the search list is going to show you. Right, so, and again, when it comes to this term called home page over here, right, home page means the very first page that you are going to see when you type the web address or the particular domain name of the particular website, right? So like if you type www.google.com, it's going to be the home page of the google.com. right? Yes, Metuja, it happens due to the certification. What Metuja is asking is, in many instances, it says not secure in the upper search bar. Upper search bar means actually it is the address bar. Now here, in my case, you can see the same thing. See, it's not secure. It is because when we are hosting a particular website, we need to acquire a particular certificate which gives the assurance of the security to the users from the website. Now, it doesn't mean that this website is going to spread you viruses or malware kind of things, right? If you really don't know about the website, it's better you do not visit. So since it is shown on my website, I can assure it is not that the malware is spreading from the website. What they are saying is not secure is they are not recommending you to provide any sensitive data into the website, like a password, like credit card numbers, kind of things. That is why it is indicating it is not secure, right? So if I purchase the security, which I have to pay and take, right? We call it the Ssl certificate, and there are many different certificates for that. So then this not secure label will be taken out, right? And the advice is, if you really know the website, if someone recommends you that the website is safe, it's no problem for you to use that, like I'm recommending my website. But if you really don't know, it's better you keep distance from that. Metuja, is that clear? Right. Okay, so then that is what is we are talking about as the World Wide Web. And there is another service called File Transfer Protocol, FTP. So the File Transfer Protocol, as it shows, you can upload, or like you can transfer many different files in between the client PC and the server using the FTP, right? Like when it comes to the emails, you can attach particular emails into your website, or like onto your email attachment up to a certain limit, right? Okay, Susu. Right. So when you are attaching the things to the email, there will be a particular limit. Like if you take Gmail accounts, it will allow you to attach 25 megabytes as an email attachment. If you take Yahoo, as I remember, it gives you 60 MB attachments, right? But still, there are certain limits. But when you are going to communicate larger capacity files, you can't do it using the emails. So in that case, you have to have a service like Google Drive, or something like something which is supporting the FTP, right? So when you are having that particular kind of service, you can transfer, or like you can communicate the bigger files in between two machines, right? So it will give you the chance to do the file sharing, file transferring facilities, right? File sharing is something else. When it comes to the Google Drive, we are experiencing, in most of the case, we are experiencing file sharing, right? Okay, so before we go to the remote access, let's write about these two things, right? So start with the heading, services of the internet. right? And you really don't need to write this list. After the services of the internet, right? So let's come up with the very first subheading, World Wide Web. And under that, you can go with these points. I will highlight it and you can write it as points, right? You can take down the highlighted part, people. So as the browser software examples, you can write these 4. So after this, you yep, sorry, some communication issue happened. So after this point, you can write these things as the examples, people. Right, so are we done with this, people? Anyone who is still writing? Right. So after these examples, what? You hurt your back accidentally. Yeah, hold on. Right. So after that, we really don't need to go on these things because these things are like talk through the HTML lesson as well. Yeah. You better write this, people. And the next line as well. That will be enough. Dinuka, Sulakna, and Sinetma. Can you please rename with your ID number? Right. Are we done, people? Anyone who is still writing? Okay, moving forward. Suhara, go away. It is disturbing. What is this, Suzu? Dad, I want to stay. Okay. So we can move to the next topic. File transfer protocol. Yeah, you can write these things. plus this. People, are we done? Anyone who is still writing? Okay, so moving forward. Right, remote access is another facility that we can use when it comes to the as a services of the internet. So remote access gives you the chance of accessing a computer remotely. That means your computer can be at home, and using a small software which can use the remote access like TeamViewer, you can install the software at your computer, and you can install the same software on another computer, which will allow us to have the remote connection, or like remote connecting part, with the help of the internet. Right now, when it comes to the work from home scenarios, it is always happening on that manner. Right, if a person who is working in his working premises, if he or she asks to work from home, what they are doing is, they are one way of doing their job is, they the people who are in the company, usually the IT department people, will on all the devices at that company, and they will allow the workers or the employees to connect with those computers using a remote access service. Right, so they will apply the, or like they will install the necessary softwares into their computers, and they will have the remote access to the office computer from home. So then they are working in the office, in the office computer with a remote access from the home's computer, right? It is possible because there is something called internet. Without the internet connection, we won't be able to do it, as this particular picture explains, right? So house is somewhere over here, somewhere in the Australia, right? An employee somewhere in the North America, and head office is somewhere in the Britain or Europe, right? So using the remote access, they can connect with all these computers and work on that. Like here they are talking about video conferencing as well. Video conferencing is a separate service of the internet. Here what you have to remember, or like what you have to understand is, like, it is easy to access a particular computer from a remote location, right? Okay, so let's write about that. So here comes the subheading, remote access. Right, so under the topic remote access, yeah, this definition is needed. As the second point, under this, you can write these 2 points. Okay, are we done? Anyone who is still writing? Okay. Right. So since the time is up, I'm going to end the session from here, people. So let's hope and pray we will be able to meet physically next week without any bus strikes and all these things. And yeah, and thank you very much for everyone, and people who do not know how to refer the videos through the website, you can stay. I'll show you how to refer the video through the website. And others, you can leave, right? So thank you very much, everyone. Have a very nice day. I'll see you on next week for the very same time. Right, okay, everyone. Thank you very much.
Bye.